Wow, the Easter weekend in the Championship did not disappoint. Let's have a look at the biggest winners and losers. Let's start with the promotion picture, and the biggest winners and losers were defined by one very late goal at Portman Road. Jeremy Sarmiento's 97th minute winner meant Ipswich were the only team in the top four to go 2 for 2 over the Easter weekend, and the only team to move up in the table from third to first. Leeds took 4 points and Leicester 3, but the Portman Road late show meant Southampton were the biggest losers. We knew they'd be in fourth spot whatever Saints did, but the gap has grown now to all their rivals. They're probably not out of it yet, but the run coming up of 7 games in 21 days for Southampton probably needs to produce at least 6 wins for Saints to still be in contention by the time we get to the final day. In the playoff race, West Brom and Norwich went into and came out of the Easter weekend in 5th and 6th spot. In the chasing pack, precious little change, with Coventry and Preston banking 3 points, the same as Norwich in 6th, meaning all the gaps remained exactly the same between those sides. The biggest winners, I guess, were Middlesbrough, who got themselves 4 points and extended their unbeaten streak to 6 games. I bet they trade that, though, for one of Coventry's and Preston's games in hand. No doubt who the biggest losers were in the playoff race. Hull City were one of only 2 sides in the entire division to lose both of their games. At home to Stoke and away to Leeds, they dropped from 7th down to 10th over the Easter weekend. Fortunately for Hull, nobody twisted the knife and took 6 points in the playoff battle, meaning it's a 6-point gap now to make up, and Hull do have a game in hand over 6th place Norwich City. We must give an honourable mention to Bristol City, who are our second 6-point Easter, along with Ipswich. Double win, double clean sheet. Look, unlikely to propel them anywhere other than mid-table, but a fabulous Easter nonetheless for the Robins, which transitions us smoothly to the relegation zone, and our final 6-point side take a bow QPR for an outstanding Easter weekend. Rangers were the highest climbers in the entire division, going up 4 places, and even though nobody is really safe down there just yet, a win and a draw now across the final 6 games would put QPR in to the 50-point territory. Stoke City were the other big winners. They couldn't quite match QPR's 6 points, but I'm sure they would have taken 4 before the weekend started. Massive for Stephen Schumacher. That takes the Potters 5 clear of the relegation zone. We had huge morale-boosting wins also for Blackburn, Birmingham, and Rotherham, who are still mathematically with us in the Championship following their first win in 16 games. Now, given the amount of teams involved in the relegation scrap and the fact that 5 of them recorded a win at the weekend, the losers are honestly the ones that didn't manage to win in either of their games. Huddersfield and Sheffield Wednesday stayed exactly where they were after 1-point weekends. Millwall also had a 1-point weekend and actually dropped 3 places. No real argument for the biggest losers in the survival race. Plymouth, our second 0-point team, they lost both games and dropped 3 positions to 21st, just a single point outside of the drop zone. And that was it for manager Ian Foster, whose short stint as Argyle manager is over, and he leaves them in big trouble. So to conclude, biggest winners over Easter: Ipswich, QPR, Stoke, Middlesbrough, with a huge honourable mention to Bristol City. Biggest losers: Southampton, Hull, and Plymouth. Let me know your takes in the comments, especially if you're at both games watching your side this Easter weekend. We'll be back with Sam Parkin on Wednesday to pick over the entirety of the Easter weekend in the latest episode of the Championship Check-In podcast.